What about the nominees? Are you still supporting all of them? Unfortunately, and I just want to say one thing too, to the invertebrate Senate to approve Pete Hegseth. And I want to point out three senators particularly. David McCormick, who went to West Point, who was just elected to a 6-year term, has nothing to lose. Shame on you. Joni Ernst, who's not only a veteran, but a victim of sexual assault, who raised legitimate concerns, and then they threatened her with a primary challenge, and she whimpered off, is despicable. Show some honor. And Tom Tillis, who talked about, oh, I can't get anyone to back up these claims. Well, first, two things, Senator. I realize no one's ever accused you of being the smartest guy in the room. But the reason that a lot of these things couldn't be backed up was because there were NDAs. Nobody would talk. But listen to what Pete Hegseth's own mother said. Listen to some of the women that accused him. And secondly, that's not even the issue. The issue is whether he's qualified. He's grossly unqualified, comically unprepared, but yet you guys went along with it. So I'm hoping you'll show some spine. What about the last three? Do you support Tulsi Gabbard? Do you support Kash Patel? Do you support RFK? Would you vote for all three of those, Carrie?
Me personally? Yes, I would.
Would you have voted for Matt Gaetz? Would you have voted for Matt Gaetz?
I think Pam Bondi is a major upgrade. So,
that's not the question. Would you have voted for him if he'd been the nominee?
He's a different case. I mean, his own peers.
Okay, so yes, because you're not going to answer the question. All right. See, this is what I'm saying.
When do you not even allowing me to say anything? So I can talk about Pete Hegseth. So I have personally known Pete Hegseth personally. I went to Harvard with him. I was his orientation leader. I've known him since 2009. And even he has said he doesn't agree, and he was not his best life all the time. But when you look at, and he has said he's made mistakes. He hasn't done, the perfect life. But I think what the Democrats were distracted because you said he wasn't qualified, but then the Democrats didn't even talk about that really. I think they were so distracted by these claims that, yes, I agree with that, Senator. They were not verified. So, for example, the ex-sister-in-law, who is the divorcee of his brother, who he's not even related to anymore, put words in the mouth of Pete's ex-wife, which the ex-wife disavowed. That's that would be laughed out of court.
You are picking one isolated incident. Okay. The bottom line is his own mother called him a predator. Now, and put aside the fact he still hasn't said whether or not he drinks. I mean, the stories of him passed out. I mean, as I said, I'm a recovered alcoholic. And the fact that if someone is an alcoholic, that they'll tell you that they're not going to drink. Oh, don't worry. If I get this job or if you do this for me, I'm not going to drink. That's laughable. That's one thing that an addict or an alcoholic have to do is say no. And the third thing is that's just the issue of personal behavior, which is bad enough. But the main issue is competence. He is grossly unprepared. He is grossly incompetent, and or grossly comically unsuited for this job. And Kash Patel, do you remember Bill Barr?
Yes.
Well, Bill Barr, I have my issues with him in terms of being a Trump loyalist, but he was certainly that knew the law. And you may recall that in the Trump first administration, Donald Trump tried to appoint Kash Patel as assistant FBI director. And do you remember what Bill Barr's response was? Well, allow me to refresh your memory. He said, over my dead body, this is the most unqualified person perhaps ever. And to go in and let's go down the list. I mean, it's too long to even list. He claimed that he was responsible for involved in the Benghazi hearings. He wasn't. He said he was the one who gave the order to take out al-Baghdadi, the ISIS leader. He wasn't. He said that we had cleared airspace permission from an ally when we hadn't. He said that he sprung the leak about hostages being freed before they had released American soil, which is like a number one. The list goes on and on. Not to mention, he said, well, let's close the FBI headquarters and have turn it into a museum for the deep state. Have you ever heard of the word kakistocracy? It's my favorite word. Have you ever heard of that word, Carrie?
No,
It's a great word. It means government by the worst men. And that's exactly what we have here. This is a clown show.